Hi, my name is Chelsea. So, when it comes to teaching ASL and tutoring students with it, it really depends on what we're doing with how I proceed with the lesson. So, I'll just kind of give you an overview and then show an example of one of those possible situations. So, when it comes to ASL, it depends on the age of the person I'm teaching, what class they're enrolled in, what the project they're working on is, if they are learning like on their own for the first time or with a class, and if they are in a class, what the project is. So there are at least 5 parameters that really determine how I go forward. If they are working on a specific project, we focus on that. If they have to create a 3 minute long video answering a series of questions, we will go over and make sure that they know how. First, we know what their responses are. Then we make sure they know how to sign all the responses. And then sometimes we'll sign it together. I'll sign it to show them what it looks like. I'll watch them sign it and provide critiques. It's just whatever that student requests, whatever works best for them. Sometimes I've even gone over it with a student and then outside of class, I will record myself signing it for them and send it to them so they have that extra little bit to help them. And if they're studying on their own and they're like, oh, shoot, I forgot the sign for that, they can just watch the video that I send them or that they record during our session, and then they can see the sign. So that's how I do that way. If they are watching a video and have to answer the questions for class, what I typically do is watch it with them, help them figure out what's being signed. If they don't know a sign, I kind of do some helpful questions like, okay, well, what handshake are they using? What does it look like they're saying? If you look at the rest of the sentence, what word makes sense here? And eventually we lead them to find the correct sign. So that's how I do that. If they have to record themselves answering questions, I kind of do the same as if they had to do like a script or something. And we go through what the answer is, make sure they know how to sign everything, et cetera, et cetera. If I'm teaching a student who is coming in with no ASL knowledge or very little, then it's a very different teaching style. I typically, for that, will start by teaching the ABCs. That way they can fingerspell stuff. And then I will teach them like colors, simple phrases, and it kind of depends on why they're learning. If they are working in like a first responder situation, I will focus on things like emergency, hurt, name, stuff like that. If they're just wanting to be able to chat with deaf people that they see out and about, we focus on how are you? What's up? I'm good. Stuff like that. Additionally, I tend to teach with voice on, just because I feel like with the virtual learning, students learn a lot better voice on, especially with ASL 1. I was taught voice off. However, my teacher would let you come up after class and voice on and talk to them. And I feel like that was a really easy way to learn. And for a lot of these students in their class, it's voice off. So for the tutoring outside of class, having voice on is really helpful, because if they don't know how to ask a question in sign language and they can't ask it in class, they might be too scared to even attempt it. But outside of class with me tutoring and voice on and English and ASL, they can ask whatever they want. When I'm teaching someone ASL from the beginning, I do both voice on and voice off, and I'll give you an example of that here in just a moment. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers how I teach ASL. And sorry for the long explanation. It's just so many different scenarios change how I teach that it's easiest to just explain them and try to show them all. So now I will go over, let's say I have a new student and I am teaching them colors. And this is typically how it would start. So now we're going to learn colors. And this is the sign for color. You take your hand in the 5-hand shape and wiggle your fingers in front of your chin. We'll just go over the main ones. So for blue, you have a B for blue, and you shake it, just like that. And this will help with a lot of the hand shape, or a lot of the colors. So B for blue, Y for yellow, G for green, and P for purple. So let's do those again. Blue, yellow, green, and purple. So those are the ones with the letter over here. Now we have red, which is the X hand shape. Not sure why it's X, but it is. And you go to your chin and you just flick it a couple times. So red, and pink is a P, pink, and then orange is an O. You just squeeze your chin. And this is the same sign for the food orange, which you'll learn later. So orange. So that's red, pink, orange. And then white is just an open hand. So a 5 slightly inward, pulling it out from your chest. So white. And then black is a straight finger across your forehead. So white and black. Then brown is a B down your face. Tan is a T down your face. So brown and tan. And be careful to only do B once, because if you do it twice, that's a different meaning, which we'll learn later. So brown, tan. And then gray has two signs, actually. So the first sign for gray, you can just do this, which is open 5 hand shape, one in front of the other, in circles. Or the second one is gray. And this also means whatever. So it's kind of like, whatever, the meaning's gray. So you'll see both. So let's go over those latest ones again. You have white, black, brown, tan, and gray, or gray. Now at this point in the lesson, what I would typically do is I will say a color and then ask them to show me that sign for that color. And then I'll switch it and I'll sign a color and have them tell me what I just signed. That way they are working on both their expressive and receptive skills. And then at the end of the lesson, I kind of do a review in voice off. And I will do something like show them, so this is the sign for my favorite color. So now I'm going to sign what my favorite color is, and I want you to answer with yours. So it'd be like, and I just said my favorite color, blue. And then I would sign. And that's your favorite color, what? And I would expect the student to be able to sign my favorite color, and then whatever color they pick. So that is pretty much how I would do that. And then after these lessons, I type up all the vocabulary and I email it to the students so they can practice it in their off time. Yeah, that is pretty much how I would teach an ASL lesson. Thank you for your time.